be a couple of us or a few of us today, but I'm going to post this to my YouTube channel. So, hey everybody, this is Jason. My name is Jason Downing, and I will be your instructor this semester for Social 100. Now, I love sociology, and normally this class, I mean, I don't even know, this might be one of my first like videos to talk to people for a strictly online course at the very beginning, because I know that people want flexibility and stuff like that. So I just want people to know as I touch base and talk a little bit about the class today, and it's not going to take too long, but that I'm here, right? I mean, everybody knows that there's a lot going on in the world, to say the least, and just like Kermit the Frog, I've got nothing to say about that. But I will say that I'm excited about this semester, and I think it's going to be fantastic. So I'm just going to try and reach out a little bit to people once in a while, a little extra. Or maybe hold a meeting to explain like the big project or answer questions. Today, I'll just talk about the class, and then I have a YouTube channel. So feel free to head to the YouTube channel. If you want to subscribe, fine. I think at least if you did that, then you would know when a video is posted right away, because I'll upload it there, and then I'll probably share it on Canvas, but sometimes I don't have time. So check in at least, even if you don't subscribe, with the YouTube channel. You got a dog there? Awesome. I've got 3, and my buddy just showed up to do some work on our house, and he just started nailing right as I started this video. So I'm expecting my farm dog Huckle, when he like
start barking,
realize what's going on, to
what breed is that?
He's a Catahoula.
A Catahoula. Oh my gosh, those are beautiful dogs.
Most people, like, I hadn't even heard of a Catahoula until I was like 40.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing about Catahoulas is they're like hunting dogs, like, but they're the Louisiana state dogs. So they go into like swamps and they flush out like boars and bears, and that's like so
cool.
And they're, but on a farm, because they're so smart, he's the best. We have over 100 chickens out here, and so yeah. Well, anyway, a little bit about me. I live in a 4-acre farm. I teach the 100. I teach. I do all sorts of, I teach the 220, which is an environmental sociology class. So, you know, I'm out here on the farm trying to grow as much food as we can, and we sell organic eggs and that kind of thing. I've got 2 boys, one who's 13 and his name is Zion. My 15-year-old is named Storm. I know what you're thinking. They grow organic food. His kids' names are Storm and Zion. He must be a hippie. But I guarantee you, I take baths. I have some pretty slick hair today to prove that on day 1, even though I spend a lot of time out here on my farm. But that's my family. My partner, Julie, is an artist, and she also does a lot out here on the farm, gardening, and we sell plants and stuff like that. So a little bit about me. I've been teaching at CSU for 15 years, which just like went like that. But I love Soc. And so this semester, we're going to talk about everything. It's like one of those gatherings, like when people go home for the holidays and your parents are like, now we're having all the relatives over. Well, you know, back in the day, don't talk about this, and that. That's everything we talk about in sociology, whether that's the war on drugs or gay marriage or racism. Like, we're going to talk about all of it. And sometimes even politics as it applies to human beings. So I think there's a lot of really fantastic videos that I've got for you to watch. And then I don't want to keep this filled with busy work. I hope by the middle of the semester, you're just hooked on sociology, because sociology is really like a way to become a Jedi. It's a way to see things from as many different perspectives as possible. And we're not asking that you believe all those different perspectives, but when you can like listen to other people's perspectives, and then your own grows because you understand more, then your interactions with people are going to be more successful, right? And it's about manifesting what you want in this life. So how do we know what it's like as an African-American woman in this country? Like, how do we know that? Well, we listen. How do we know what the experience is like for somebody who's a new immigrant to this country? We listen. And actually, as sociologists, we observe and we listen. Those are 2 things that we don't necessarily do really well in this culture, right? We like to say that we know things and talk about things and yell about things, but we need to also be as neutral and open-minded and ready to just listen and absorb as we can be. And out of that is going to be some really, really cool stuff. Now, I do have some links to some videos for our discussions, and they may require like renting a movie. in the past, and still I'm trying to, as many times as I can find the solid stuff I want, like if I discover it for free in a not sketchy way online and I can share it with you, like YouTube, then I always will. Occasionally, to watch something that's really cool, may have to, like, go to Amazon if I can't find the link or something like that. So just so everybody knows, there's a few things that might be like that. Now, our textbook, you can find it at CSU, and they have like a print version, they have an online version, there's probably a loose leaf version and an online version, and then you can sell the loose leaf version. I mean, I'm basically trying to find a way to get you a deal on our textbook. And some people, like, I'm old school, I'm always old school, so I like to highlight a textbook, but a lot of people would rather get a digital version of that. That doesn't matter, but you should know, everybody needs to know, and it says it on the front page of Canvas, that's required. Okay, so the textbook is required, because when you're doing these content assignments, we could copy and paste from the internet from everywhere. That doesn't mean it's a solid source. So working with a textbook for me that I've picked with publishers that I like, who give my students deals, and it's got solid info, I think it's worth it, and you're going to need it. So after the first content assignment, if somebody has like gotten sources from all over the internet, but they're not using the textbook, I'll likely say, hey, please redo this and add the textbook. All right, let me do a little bit of a screen share, and I think I'm going to screen share to the course, and then I'll just walk around it for a couple minutes and show you where things are at, right? There's 5 of us here today. I'm not lecturing normally to this class live, otherwise I would say unmute your cameras, but if you're decent, unmute your cameras. It's always good to see people in real life, especially for sociology class. So if we do these meetings, I'll always say, hey, if you can make it and you're dressed, we want it to be appropriate, then go ahead and show your face. All right, so let me do a screen share. And that's the one I want. Okay, all right. Let's, can you see that? Nod your head if that showed up. Kyle, can you see that? The Canvas thing? Okay, cool. Sorry, just want to make sure, man, as we're starting the beginning of the semester. So announcements, this is where you're always going to check for everything. Okay, meeting reminders, due dates. Here's our Zoom link, and we'll use the same link. The extra credit food drive, I'll talk about that. The YouTube channel, content assignments, the syllabus. And then I've got the college game, a few words on winning. That's basically just like, keep it real. If you have problems, don't make excuses. Don't wait till the last second. Don't ask for a grade bump. Stay in the game, stay connected to me, and stay in contact. And that's how you can really do well in college. Just don't expect it all at the last minute. And if you disappear for a couple weeks, look, life is going to happen. And if life happens and somebody is going to break up with a boyfriend or a girlfriend, and they're going to be the end of the world, and 3 weeks later they're like, how could I have ever dated that person? That doesn't mean that it's not traumatic. But then if you disappear for a little bit and you don't do some stuff, still reach out to me. I am here to help you succeed. Like, honestly, like, I'm not here to trick you. I love sociology. I want you to learn this information and do well and improve your writing and get to know different perspectives and points of views. So usually it's not too late. Just own it and reach out to me if you need any extra help. Okay, so announcements is where you go for that. Syllabus, I mean, you can click on the syllabus. Now on the syllabus, I have like a week by week breakdown, and maybe not for the online, we'll see, but it's all like right here. So I wouldn't even worry about too much of that. Read over the syllabus, but all the dates are here. They're all laid out, whatever you need to do, whether it's the observation, and I'll get to those things separately, but here are your dates. We have 2 exams this semester, and they're essay exams. And so usually people write a lot, but you're doing these weekly content essay assignments. So once you do that assignment, if you do a really good job week to week and keep up, then you'll be able to copy and paste those for the essay exams, and then add a little bit to them, so that the exams aren't stressful. I do that because I want retention. Okay, I want people to see the material, learn the material, and reinforce the right material, not just like cram it and regurgitate it. So that's kind of my approach. This lays everything out pretty easily here. Actually, that's Red Rocks. My partner Julie is an artist, so this is one of the prints that she did from years ago. I guess, yeah, of a Red Rock show. It'd be nice to get back to Red Rocks and some concerts, wouldn't it? I missed that. All right. I play in a band, so I play music too. And I played since I was 15 years old. My dad would chaperone us. So I'm a farmer, a musician, and a teacher. Yes, I picked the three lowest paying jobs. Money. But I love each and every one of them. So yeah, still hoping that we can do some safe concerts and stuff like that this summer if we can, get a handle on this virus piece and everybody does their part to mask up. Okay, so modules. Now, this is kind of cool. I mean, I've already intertwined the discussion, the contents, and like here's the lecture and PowerPoint information. So what I did is I already last semester recorded all of my lectures ahead of time. So all of the lectures for all the chapters are here, and they're broken down into like parts 1, 2, and 3. My son, who's 13, is an editing genius. So we've got some Star Wars edits and some music, and they're all there kind of laid out like episode by episode on the YouTube channel. So you can watch these like at your own, right? We're like starting with chapter 1. The content's not due till next Friday. Why don't you, dip into a lecture? When has anybody ever said that? Relax by chilling out to a good lecture. But hey, I don't know. I think they're cool and I love the topics. So that's how I want you to approach it. Don't stress. All of that's right there. And then you can even come down here and there's a file of that PowerPoint if you want to download it, make notes. And I might change, things from time to time, but I think this is a pretty solid way to have everything you need for you. Since this is not asynchronous, we're not going to be meeting. There you go, right? I got a whole semester's worth of lectures, as much as you could possibly stand, and probably more. Okay. Assignments. So there's chapter assignments that that correlate with all of the chapters that you'll be reading. So read a chapter, watch the lectures, and then you click in here to the assignments and their essay questions. Briefly discuss the work of 3 important sociologists. Identify 3 major paradigms. Okay. Now it says up here, they've got to be detailed. They should be cited. So everything has to have in-text citations. Now this is all over the websites. Don't worry. If you're not or haven't been writing a lot with citations before, just look up the style that you're most familiar with, MLA or APA, and make sure that you have those in texts in every question. And it's super important, right? Because we want to connect the material with the text so that we know it's solid, right? Because people are like, how do I know what's real these days? Look, it's easy to know what's real. There's lots of real stuff. That's why you're going to school. Right? To learn scientifically relevant information. And we support it by peer reviewing it and citing it and making sure it's a good source. The textbook is, so you start there. Now, if some of these we're talking about deviance or some really interesting things in sociology, which I think we will, add your personal insight. These content assignments don't have to be in first person, second person, third person. It doesn't matter to me, but I think in Soch, add your perspective, because I want us to get into the discussions. And it's more important that we get into discussions for a class like sociology than it would be, I think, even for calculus, something I'm not familiar with. All right, discussions. Now, the first thing that's due is a social observation, and it's due next week by Tuesday. I said it does not need to be posted a week in advance because you're just basically observing people. It's like sociology, right? From your window, from outside while you're working on homework, whatever it might be, safely. I want you to write some observations down. And so you can click on that. That's easy. The discussions 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, I've got a first post by and a due date. Okay. What that means is, for the first one, and you're going to watch this really cool documentary called Chicken People. Do I have chickens on my farm? Yes. Am I a chicken person? I don't think so. You'll like this documentary. It's really cool. Anyway, if I don't have a deadline for your first post of a week before the final deadline for that discussion, people don't do it until the last second and nobody's really discussing, right? They're just like last day regurgitating. So you have to have at least your first post a week before the due date. Okay. And then at least 2 other posts, and you'll see this on the discussion board. You can read that later, but at least 2 other posts that are on different days. So 3 posts minimum, all different days, 1 a week ahead of time. And I think these are easy points. They add up to easy points as long as you're staying on top of it. Plus, you're watching like, oh, this American drug war, the blue-eyed, brown-eyed study, Chicken People. That's one of my favorite ones. I think I'm going to replace one of these with Jiro Dreams of Sushi, a really cool piece that will make you hungry and is a great cultural piece into different cultures. So The discussions, stay on top of them. They're easy points, but there's deadlines. Okay, so I want people to feel comfortable with that. There's a big food matters paper assignment. All right, so the big paper assignment in this class, and it's a decent sized one. It's worth 150 points. It's got 3 sections, and it's all about examining food ingredients, what's in our food, what those mean. We're going to look at conventional farming, organic farming, and then we're going to look at like a really cool third section, which is like a cultural perspective. Like maybe you're looking at weight gain in wrestlers, or you're looking at non-meat meat tasting burgers, like whatever cultural piece that surrounds food, that's that section. So there's 3 sections of this paper. I will explain it in much more detail, but there is one paper that's due April 12th for this class. That's a little bit bigger paper. The reason I have a whole section that you can write on whatever you want is because I want you to be writing in this class about things that you are interested in, not just things that like apply to the textbook. Okay. So every component in this class, I want you to be interested so that you do your best work. Now, why do I pick food? I'm really interested in it. It's a passion for me. And more than that, everybody eats. Like I could have an assignment about something about cars or some subculture or Star Wars, which I love. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Star Wars guy in and out. But food, everybody eats. So we're going to look at that this semester. Okay. Assignments. Also, there are like 2 exams that I said, and there's an extra credit food drive. Okay, last semester, my classes, and you can click on it yourself, it's due May 4th. It's like a $5 minimum donation. And if we raise a certain amount, I think it's 6,000 pounds of food or $6,000 between all my classes, then it's worth a certain number of extra credit points. Here's the deal. You can also write a paper on poverty and homelessness. If you don't have a $5 donation, I'm fine with that. Either way, you have to write about it on the discussion board. But here's the deal. Last semester, we got my classes, my students, not even me, collected $9,000 and provided 18,000 meals. Yeah, like there was somebody who's a relative who joined in because I've got links and friends and family can join in too. Somebody gave $1,500. So my sociology students would do better so people could eat in the community. I mean, that is doing sociology. And right now, we can't just do sociology. I mean, even if we were in that $1 million classroom up at CSU where I would crank the speakers and play Lizzo and all sorts of other music because I love her. And I always start my classes off with music and we jam. Even if we were up there, there's only so much sociology you can do in 4 walls in a classroom. So we have to be conscious that more than ever right now, people in our community are struggling, right? So in this class, I say that there's a way that you can benefit from that by doing the right thing and feeding people. And that's separate. That's extra credit. And it's not due till the end of the semester. But I think it's a really, really cool thing. And you can see all of my other classes too and how much we've donated and what that looks like. And so I'll talk about that during the course of the semester. But 18,000 meals. Oh yeah. Can we do more? I'm getting a couple of other my teacher friends that are also musicians that teach up at CSU because I'm just going to start with my buddies and see if they'll join us this semester and raise that whole thing too. So my goal some days is for have my students provide like 50,000 or 100,000 meals a semester. And at 18,000 last semester, it's totally possible. So anyway, there's a bit about the class. You could check your grades, but that's pretty much the basics. I think this is going to be an awesome class. It's an online class. So, if you're expecting something that's really dry, I hope that this isn't it. I hope that this class is fun and exciting. You dig the videos and you learn stuff that you haven't considered before. And to me, the best thing about like students that I know they like the class, even in my like 8 a.m.s, when we were going, people would still be there at the end of the semester. And it's like, it's worth getting up for this. If it's worth participating and learning some cool stuff for this, then this is the class for you. Now, if you look up and down the workload or I don't seem like the right kind of guy for you, I rub you the wrong way, you're making a financial decision too. So check the class over. And if you have any questions, just reach out to me. I think it's really important that we stay in touch. And I think it's really important that even though this is an online class, my biggest thing is that I want this to be a safe space for everybody. Okay. So one of my focuses over the last 25 years is race relations and ethnic studies. So one thing that I don't tolerate in any way, shape, or form. would be racism or discrimination towards anybody. If you're in a social department, you're pretty much cool with and understand at least, or try to, everybody. Okay, so my classes are safe spaces, whether that's a gender piece, whether that's a race piece, whether that's anything, you know, I want this place to be open-minded and accepting. We don't have any room in this class for white supremacist loser garbage. Okay, and I mean, you know, I am full on all anti that. Okay, so I think that CSU has to make sure that its commitment to people and diversity is really much stronger. And since MLK Day was yesterday, I think that's reason enough for us to think about how we can be stronger as students in our community. Because our class is a community. Because every semester, unfortunately, somebody does something. They post some picture of themselves in blackface, or they hang paper towel nooses or something. They do something stupid. I want to know that those people aren't my students. So if you're in this class, I expect that you are gonna be and do the things that I say at the end of every lecture and every class, and that is be good people and do good things. So I think we're gonna have an awesome semester together. I'm really excited. I know that there's only a handful of us here. I'm gonna stop the screen share, back to this page. There's 7 of us, that's not bad. There's 25 in the class. Questions, anybody, about the way this class moves, about me, about expectations?
I have the 3rd edition textbook. Is that okay?
Does it require 4th? I can't remember offhand.
Well, initially in the registration, it said 3rd, but when I just looked down at your paperwork, it's now showing 4th. If 3rd is okay?
I think 3rd should be okay.
Okay, cool.
The chapters don't lay themselves out too differently.
Okay.
I will say this, I like Sage because when they go to add things, they do add things. So the 4th edition isn't like a verbatim edition of the one before. If you run into any problems, just let me know.
Okay.
It's more important for me that my students have access to learning and aren't stressed out by the high cost of books or whatever else that might be. So any way I can help, just let me know if you run into anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any other questions about me, about the class?
I could just grab the textbook from like the library, right? Or the CSU, the library, or not the library, the bookstore.
Yeah, and you might be able to purchase it from a distance if you want the online version.
Okay.
But Kurt at the bookstore, so I think it's still I know that they might have switched over somewhat, but it was family run and owned, and I know the same people work there. They're awesome. And then sometimes people can find it for cheaper online. That being said, with my Sage rep, I'm always like, find me different options. Cool. And so I think she's come up with some really good ones. But that's, you know, yeah, your call. And I think you can do that. Yeah. Any other questions about anything? Topics we're going to cover this semester? Anything else?
How often do you think we're going to do these types of meetings?
Well, I am a busy person, and you are a very, very busy, you are very busy people as well. You know, with my live, or the ones that were normally live kind of, and we're doing asynchronous, you know, we meet a couple times a week. With this, because I know those expectations aren't there, but I don't want to just totally, I don't know, not have it be personable, or have people have questions and not feel like they can get them answered. So not even once a week, probably. But if there's like, maybe after the first content assignment, I'll do one to say, hey, here's how you improve upon these once I grade a whole bunch of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I don't want to burden people with this business, and I will record like I am today, every single one of them. Yep, but not very often. But your people, I want to meet you. Any other questions about what we're doing this semester? Anything? Nope. All right. I will try and post this in announcements so that everybody has access to that. That being said, in announcements, you go to the YouTube channel. I will post it there. You know, that's the YouTube channel is live for anybody to see. So if you have any hassle with that, you should be forewarned that they're up there. You know, whatever, for privacy issues. I just want to make sure that you're comfortable with that. That being said, don't think there's too many people heading to the sociology page to check out a class that they're not in. So I would feel comfortable with that. And I will post the links, or check it out if you want to watch it. All the stuff in our class links to that YouTube channel anyway. So you might have to scroll to find, the ones from chapter 1, but it should be in its own file folder. So whether you go to YouTube directly to the channel or whether you just start clicking in modules. Any other questions? All right, I'm gonna go work on some classes and be good people and do good things. Peace, everybody. Take care.
Thank you so very much. You have a wonderful day today.
Happy you're here this semester.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, peace, be well.